Okay, we're going to talk about how to do the live streaming of our church services at St. Paul's. We're first going to talk about the components we use. The first item we use is a laptop that's going to be used for streaming the live service and setting up everything with YouTube. So that's the first component. Second component is the PTZ camera. The camera is always positioned in this spot. That's why we have it taped off. And the camera also has a remote. That remote is used for positioning the camera in the various positions that we have during the service. We have a document that shows which each of those positions mean. Another component that is here that's not that critical, but this is a network switch. It also supplies power for the camera. It's also known as a PoE switch. So that's another part of our networking components. We also have a Wi-Fi router here. This is used for the next component right next to us, a laptop that we use for chatting during the church services. This laptop is going to connect to this wirelessly, and it's also supplying the internet connections to this PoE switch and the camera and the laptop. And then down on the floor here is the power switch that turns on the Wi-Fi router and the rest of the network switching here. And we also use our soundboard too, of course. That takes care of all of the audio levels. All of the audio that we use for our services comes through the soundboard, and it's piped into the camera stream so that we get the best quality sound. So now here are the steps we use when starting up for our services. The first thing you want to do is go down here and turn this power strip on. Red light will come on. The second thing we want to do is turn our soundboard on as we normally do with the white switch. Also turn the light on. It's on right now. The second thing we want to do is go over to the camera. The front of the camera has a rubber cap with a lens cover over it. You just want to take that off and set that down there. And we've also, one of the things we want to watch for, and you want to make sure see the lights on that router, there's only one light lit right now at the moment. We're waiting for these 4 lights to the right to light up white. And that means we have a full internet connection. It takes maybe about 2 or 3 minutes for that to come up. So while we're waiting for that, we'll talk about getting the audio into the camera. This is the same audio cable we use for the Tascam for recording church audio, but we take it out of the Tascam and it goes into the line in on the camera. It's all the way on the left side on the upper corner. Then we'll also take this yellow networking cable, and on the side of the laptop there's a port where the network cable can go in. The way you want to have this is you want to have the bump on the bottom, and there's a little door here. You kind of push it down a little bit and it slides right in like that. Now we're going to wait until the Wi-Fi router, okay, now the Wi-Fi router is in the state that we're waiting for. We have all those lights are lit, and that means the network is fully up and configured. So what we're going to do now is we're going to power on the camera. The power switch for the camera is right here in the lower right hand corner. It's on the off. We're just a little toggle switch. We're going to go on, and the camera will do a little bit of a dance while it's setting itself up. Okay, and it's still in the process of coming up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to power up the laptop. Power switch is in the upper left-hand corner. And you can either hit enter or just let it boot itself up. And at the prompt, we'll enter the password,
which will be given to you
which will be given
in
to
our
you.
documentation.
Okay, so this is what the laptop will look like when it first comes up. There's two pieces of software that we're going to run to start the recording. First one of them is Chrome, Google Chrome. So I will start that up. Regular Google Chrome browser. To run the other piece of software, if you click in the upper right-hand corner, they'll bring a menu down and you're going to see OBS Studio. And you can just select that, and that's going to appear over here on this side. So what you see right now is the actual camera image from the camera on our screen here. So the next thing we're going to do is go over to the laptop and we'll set up our session for our chats. I will log in with, the password and username will be given in the future in our documentation. Okay, so on the laptop, we're going to use Google Chrome as well. So look for the Google Chrome icon, and we're going to go to the church's web page. And normally what we would do for church services is go to our top menu, and there is the click here, and when you click here, that you will be taken to the link for our live streaming session for that week. And once it comes up, you'll be able to watch the service live and also be a part of the chat session. Okay, so to get the live streaming started, what we normally do is I have a link here in the Chrome browser. It's called Live Streaming YouTube Studio. So we'll click on that. And this will bring up the current list of streaming sessions. For the sake of this video, I prepared a test session, and that's why it says Test Sunday. So what you normally do is click on that link, and it's going to bring the Studio Live session up. And it's basically in a state where it's ready for us to start streaming. So to start streaming, we first go over to the OBS Studio software, and you want to make sure that an image of the church is showing. And down here in the scenes, we have St. Paul selected. And then over in the sources area, it says PTZ camera, which is the camera that we're using. So to begin the live streaming, you click on the Start Streaming button right here. And what you'll notice is you're going to see some information along the bottom here where it says it's live. It also shows some CPU utilization. Right now the streaming software is streaming to YouTube. Now what we're going to do is we're going to enable it on the YouTube side. So we click on the Go Live, and after it gets synced up, you'll see the live image over here on the left-hand side. It'll also note that the connection is excellent, and you'll notice that in the upper left-hand corner, it's counting up the number of seconds. Be aware of that there is a little bit of a delay. This is what the live image of the church is right now, and I'm going to run my hand in front of the camera. You'll see it on the screen, and then probably about 30 seconds later, you're going to see it on the live image over here. It's roughly about a 20 or 30 second delay between the video streams. There we go. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now the second thing we want to do is go through some of the positionings on the church. Let's see, right now we're currently set up at the main altar. When a service starts, we normally use number 9. So there's a number 9 here on the remote. You press that, leave the remote on the table.
Beside the camera.
And you'll see that the image has changed on the camera view, and then in a couple seconds later, it will appear on the live view. One other thing I want to draw attention to is in this audio mixer area, there's also a representation of the audio stream from the camera. So this is very similar to the soundboard. As people are talking, you'll see these green bars move up and down. We generally like to see, that's one way you can really see that audio is actually appearing in the video stream, that there's activity on that lower bar, and it's in the audio mixer section under PTZ camera. The other desktop audio is actually turned off. That's why it's red and it's X'd. You want to leave it that way. The mic, which is in the laptop, is also turned off. We don't want that mic on. The only one that should be enabled is the PTZ camera, because the audio is coming from the soundboard through the camera, and that's what's being streamed here into the system. Ready to shut down now? Okay, so
Yeah.
That's how we normally stream a service. And then the audio on the board is controlled like we normally control any audio service. Like, for example, when we have to mute pastor, we mute him. If we have to adjust levels, we adjust levels. If there's a lectern reader, you have to unmute the lectern and adjust their levels, just like we normally do. So all of the knowledge that's used for the soundboard is no different than whether you're doing non-streaming or streaming. There's no difference whatsoever. So once the service is done, the first thing that needs to be done is within the YouTube Chrome browser, you click on End Stream. And it's going to warn you, are you sure you want to do this? And you want to hit End once again. And then that ends over there. That ended it on the YouTube side. Now on our streaming software side, you go back over here and you click on, under Controls, Stop Streaming. So that turns off the laptop from streaming the information back up to YouTube. So that pretty much concludes the steps that are needed to do live streaming.
Thanks, Joe. Good job.